Hi, and this is the podcast, Camcast. Wait, no, that's stupid. Is that the Camcast? The Camcast podcast. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, maybe the Camcast podcast.
Camcast podcast version.
Camcast podcast version.
Well, I'm Howard Cam, and with me today is Mark Kauanui. And if you don't know us by now, we're both educators here at Roosevelt High School. And what we're going to do is now this is the end of the year. And at the end of the year, we want to talk about our experiences, how we dealt with students with their personal issues, stuff we've dealt with as educators. And the reason this is in audio form and not on video is because I'm an unkept mess. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. I'm a little bit more kept than you are, I guess. I mean, I'm still looking fly, so.
Yeah, look at you. You're wearing an Aloha shirt.
Yep.
Your hair is tied up. And if you've seen my videos, I don't have hair, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I have really curly and frizzy hair, so the humidity just makes it.
We are the exact opposite when it comes to hair. Folks, Mark comes to work every day, Aloha shirt, slacks, nice dress shoes, everything kept. I show up to work with slippers, and right now I'm wearing long pants, but oftentimes I have shorts, t-shirt. I'm surprised I haven't been fired yet.
Well, I mean, considering the attire of certain other individuals who work here, you're golden.
Mr. Abe, though, our band director, crown jewel here at Roosevelt, he is the most polished man.
Yes.
Tie, shirt, press slacks. Like if there is a high watermark for how to dress as a professional adult, he is it.
Yep. He's also like a legend with all his music credentials.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Greg, let's talk about Greg.
All right.
Let's talk about Greg. I have never ever heard anybody talk smack about Greg.
Never.
And if they did, I'd beat them to death.
Yeah, kids love him.
Yeah. If a kid ever said, I don't like Mr. Abe, then clearly the kid is deranged.
Mm-hmm. And deserves to get beaten.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Choke slammed.
Now, if they said, I don't like Mr. Cam or Mr. K, then I'd be like, that sucks for you, but I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like me?
Yeah.
Well, tough shit.
Yeah. And I always tell kids there's always a point in every single class where they start to push the boundaries. And I have to give them I'm not your friend talk.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make friends with you. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you like my class. What you're here to do is to learn from me. And I like to teach you about life. This is real life. Not everyone is your friend.
Yeah. But what makes Greg Abe so awesome, though? I don't know what he has that I could use or some skill or strategy, but he is, well, I know he shows up early in the morning and he leaves late. Like, he really puts his time in. He really does have dedication to his students. But there's something that he must do. There's a mannerism that he must have that I clearly do not possess that is award-winning.
Could he be one of those genuinely pleasant people?
I think so. I think because I've always talked to him in passing, and he's always been very friendly to me. He's always said hi.
Yeah.
He donates time. He donates resources.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I call him the crown jewel. Like, this school cannot survive without him.
Yeah.
And I don't think people give him enough credit for that. And if you're listening to this and you go to Roosevelt High School, then, or even if you don't, you just write him a note. Look at Roosevelt High School, Greg Abe, band director, orchestra, everything.
Everything,
man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anything music is him.
Okay, but let's talk about dress attire for a moment.
All
now,
right.
we used to have this teacher that worked here. She doesn't work here anymore. But she would dress very risque. She is a person that should not be wearing the kind of clothing that she would wear.
You just stereotype the way women should dress according to age.
I am wrong.
You're canceled.
I'm definitely canceled.
Yeah.
But like we look at the way some of our teenagers dress.
Yes.
And she dresses like them, but she is a woman of many years. And look, okay, this is going on. You know what? Where's the shovel that I'm using to dig my own
Here you go. I'll toss you a rope ladder. So what you're trying to say is, as a teacher, you should be dressing in a certain fashion that is most likely probably different than how you choose to dress outside of school.
Yeah.
And this teacher could wear whatever she wanted to outside of contractual work hours, but when she's on campus being a representation of the Department of Education and Roosevelt High School and whoever was the principal at that time, right? They should be dressed in a certain professional attire. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, and I want to thank you very much for tossing down the rope to help me out
Yes.
of this stupid misogynistic pit that I threw myself into. And ladies and
Anytime.
gentlemen, I apologize because I could not form the words.
Yep.
I didn't know what I was saying. I'm not a smart man.
You're a ridiculously smart, man. Maybe just not an English teacher though.
I'm not an English
Yeah.
teacher. Absolutely not. So I teach tech here at Roosevelt, a lot of coding, and Mark is the English teacher, and he's our yearbook advisor.
Mhm.
How was
Esports
doing the
coach.
yearbook this year?
Way better than last year. Way better. It was a lot easier when you have students showing up every day and they're like willing to put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, like, was it a like it wasn't just a total shit show?
No, not at all. Yeah. I mean, still growing pains and whatnot, but this is technically my first in-person yearbook year out of the 2 years I've been an advisor. So I'm looking forward to next year.
What are some challenges you really had though? Besides people not picking up their yearbooks. I got all those emails. I think everyone got those emails. Get your yearbook.
Yeah.
But do you know that some kids, their parents bought a yearbook for them at the beginning of the year,
Hmm.
and the kid had no idea that their parents did that?
Oh yeah. And the worst is when they buy a yearbook, and this is on my end too. Like I could do a lot more due diligence in checking the 800 plus names that are on top fees and payments.
Uh-huh.
For students who bought a yearbook and whatnot, because we sent out a bunch of flyers and you didn't buy a yearbook yet, go buy one. And that resulted in about maybe like a little over 30 duplicate purchases. So the parents are buying the yearbook in the beginning of the year. They don't either remember or they don't know that they bought the
Yeah.
yearbook, and then they buy it again. So that's an issue that I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to fix without kind of shooting myself in the foot for sales, because the more we sell in the beginning is good, but it's also the cheapest rate. So it's kind of like better if people buy it later.
Because to get the better rate, you need to know how many books you're gonna need right away.
It's more like the cost to make the amount of yearbooks for Roosevelt
Yeah.
is ridiculous. And it doesn't make sense. If I were to sell out, like, all 1,500 students bought a yearbook pre-order, I would be negative.
Oh,
I
I
would
see.
still owe Justin's money versus if 700 bought in the beginning and then I sold the other 500 at $65 at the end of the year, then I'm coming closer to going even and even getting a little positive.
So Jenny Howe from Jostin. Oh, Jenny. What's her new last name? That's not
How?
Howe. It is
Yeah.
Howe, right?
How?
So Jenny Howe from Jostin is gonna come down here and just beat your legs up.
Well,
She's gonna
no,
just crack you over the head.
she's telling me all this is all her words. She's because I said, "Oh, well, should I be even marketing the 50% or the $50 pre-sale?" And she goes, "No." But she told me, because I said, "Well, why don't I just change $50 to $60? And just keep it $60 for 3/4 instead of 50, 60, and then 65." And she goes, "Because the pricing tier that you have is rare and they had to fight to get that
Oh,
pricing
I see.
tier because the DOE doesn't like how much students pay for yearbooks."
Wait, the DOE doesn't like how much students pay for yearbooks. They think it's too much.
Yes.
Is the DOE giving us money for yearbooks?
No.
Well, then they can shove it, can't they?
Yeah. So I wanted to tell Nova the business, right, and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
put it at 60 and then that'll be easier for me." But then she said if I raise too many eyebrows, then I might lose the opportunity to sell it for 65 at the end, which is when I make the most money.
Well, but the yearbook is a nice yearbook, and I think you did a great job this year with that
I
yearbook.
just push buttons.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Those are some good buttons you push then.
Thank
No,
you.
those are it's so I even have a copy right there on my desk, and because students had extra yearbooks, and I looked through them. No, they're really good.
Hmm. They did
Um,
incredible job this year.
I wrote a quote in there, and a lot of people said that was the most depressing thing that they've read, because every other teacher's like, "Congratulations, good job, you're moving on, be successful." And I'm like, "You're gonna wake up one morning and it'll all change, and you'll be depressed."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like teachers need to be more real and with their
Well, thank you.
students. Yeah.
Yeah.
If people are graduating with this unrealistic expectation of what life is like after high school,
Yeah.
we're really setting them up for even more failure than we already are with the current system. So,
I was asked by a bunch of students, like, "Do you come to, are you going to go to graduation?" And every single year I say no. I mean, I didn't go to my high school graduation. I didn't go to my 4-year college graduation. I did go to my 2-year because I was student body president, and I had to go. But I don't go to graduations because I tell these kids, you know what? You're not done, right? You're not done. So you did the thing required by law for the past 12 years. You got out. The warden let you free. I mean, really, it's a structured system. You get in
Yes.
trouble if you don't go to the structured system.
Yeah.
So they get out of high school, they're done, and then you're not really like done. Like, tell you what, give me the money for the party, throw the party, but I mean, graduation is like it should be a gentle ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to celebrate that it's over, but the very next day when you wake up, like I wrote in the yearbook, you're gonna be like, so what's next?
Exactly.
Now, there are some kids in this high school that they have peaked, and this is the most they'll ever achieve. Okay, it sounds really dick of me to say something like that as an educator that should be promoting wellness. But let's be real, folks, and you listeners out there, let's be real. You see some people, they peak in high school, they bully people, and they think they're the coolest thing, they're top shit. But I tell these kids, next year, less people will remember your name.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 years, nobody will remember your name. So if this is the maximum you've ever achieved, then you're kind of gonna be in a shock.
Mm-hmm.
No one will know you. No one will know you ever existed. And then the sad part is, Mark, is when I see them come back to high school to say hi to their friends 2 years later. I'm like, dude, you're now trespassing and you're an adult.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, go do something else.
Yeah.
Are you really cruising a high school?
Yeah.
Are you really cruising a high school? Like, that is some nonsense.
I don't think I've ever gone back. I had to go back on campus to pick up my brother-in-law, but I've never gone back. Like visiting my teachers, nope,
Yeah.
none of that.
Yeah, I only remember, let's talk about past teachers for a moment.
All right.
So I only remember one person from Kaiser High School, and that was my old counselor, Jimmy Hutcherson. And Jimmy Hutcherson, when I started working here at Roosevelt, I called him. I called him from the office line because, you can dial like,
Mhm.
and I called Kaiser High School and I called him and I go, Mr. Hutcherson, this is Howard Cam. Do you remember me? And he remembers me. Well, I think he remembers me because I was a bad kid.
Mm.
But he remembers me, but that was his retirement year.
Oh wow.
So the very first year I started teaching here was his retirement year, and I kind of wanted to cry.
Yeah.
He did a lot for me as a counselor. He really like put me on the right path. Like, I was really going down a bad path, and he set me straight. Yeah, he's retiring.
And I think that's our secret power. That's our secret weapon for all teachers in every classroom. There's going to be one student who resonates with you.
Yeah.
And eventually they're going to come back and they're going to realize that there was one moment in the class where maybe you didn't yell at them, or one moment where you did yell at them, that changed their life forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever yelled at a kid so much that they had a U-turn and started doing a whole lot better?
No, I don't think I've ever yelled at a kid. I've pulled someone aside and said, "What are you doing?" And then I like blatantly just, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing in my classroom? And they couldn't give me an answer. And I think that kind of was like a little catalyst, because they just
Yeah.
kind of float, like they're there for no reason.
And that's the rough part. Like, why am I even here? Like, we go to meetings.
Mhm.
We go to faculty meetings. And we wonder, why am I here?
Yes.
So you sent me the PDF. I know how to read. I mean, you better than me because you're the English teacher.
Yes.
Better than I. Oh, you see? I screwed that up. Isn't it better than I?
Better than I.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That's a local thing, me.
Me.
Yep.
But yeah, so I was like, but why do I have to be here? But like, you're right. With these kids, like, why are you even here?
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and I've been here 7 years. So I yelled at one kid, and I yelled at him so much, he picked up his grades in quarter 4 and turned his F's into C's.
Wow.
And I felt a little bad that, I had to yell at him, but I think that's what it was needed.
Yeah.
And it turns out, and Mark, it turns out a lot of these kids don't have this strong family structure.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of float,
Mm-hmm.
right? They kind of like drift through, like, no one's going to tell me what's up. So I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Yeah, I was explaining this to I forget who it was, but another teacher here, that there's no fear. They don't have any fear, these kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was afraid that if I had bad grades, I was gonna go home and get lickings. Like
Yeah.
my report card needed to be not flawless, but it needed to be good. You know?
catch cracks.
Yeah. If I got detention once for printing without permission, never gonna forget this. That was a thing.
Printing without permission.
Printing without permission. I don't know. It was just a thing, right? First detention I've ever gotten in my life. Okay. I didn't realize that it was one of those 3-fold slips. One copy stays in the office, one copy goes to you, third one gets sent home.
God.
And I'm
The
thinking to
carbon
myself,
copy.
yes. I'm thinking to
Oh
myself,
shit.
I'm gonna handle this at school. My mistake, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the detention. No one needs to worry about it. I was on my way to soccer tryouts in 8th grade, and I got a phone call. What the F is this? And I said, what? Why do you have detention? Didn't matter what the reason was. The fact was I got detention. Oh my, I got my ass kicked when I got home.
Damn, man. I think a lot of these kids need more lickings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or they just need to be afraid. They need to be afraid of consequences.
So I have a confession to
Mm-hmm.
make. I have a confession to make. And when I was at West Oahu, pursuing my education degree, and they, and then we had to go through these, like, those classes you take, like how would you handle students, and then you have to write these papers and these scenarios. I lied on just about every single one of those. I think they could take away my degree now, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're listening to this, uh, my professors, yeah, I lied because I mean I did the research and what we're supposed to do,
Yeah.
but in reality, that's not what I do in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have 28 kids in a room. I'm not gonna pull one aside and counsel them for 45 minutes while 27 run rampant.
Yeah.
I gotta lay the law down straight. And that's just classroom management. That's all it takes.
Yep. And that it's like it just comes down to a mentality. Like there's gonna be people who don't do anything in your class. There's gonna be people
Yeah.
who go above and beyond. There's gonna be people that you gotta hold their hand. And I just tell them from the beginning, every single class, I said, this is gonna be the easiest day of your life. All you need to do is
Yeah.
do the work. That's it. You do the work, you will pass my class. You know how you fail? You do nothing. Am I gonna hold your hand as you do nothing? No. You earn your grade, you earn your success, you earn everything in my classroom.
That makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
Like all you have to do is do the work, right?
That's it.
And so I've even told my students, like, if you want to give me a vacation, like I'm gonna get paid the same no matter if you're here or you're not here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to give me free time and make my life easy, then you don't come to school and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to make my life hard because you don't like me, this is what you do. You come to class every day, you do the work, and you ask me a shitload of questions.
Yes.
You ask me so many questions that it just destroys my head.
Yes.
You want to torture me every day? That's what you do.
You-
come to class, ask me questions, do the work, and get super prepared.
Yep, exactly. You go above and beyond. If I'm teaching you how to write a paragraph, you ask me about how to write an essay.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna benefit, and then you're right. Exactly. You're gonna make my life a living hell.
Make me earn my check.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if not, I'm just gonna get free money and thanks, and then your parents get all pissed off about it. Let's talk about parents.
Okay.
So let's talk about parents. Do you talk a lot with parents that have failing that are? Okay, I'm sorry. So we have some parents that never answer our calls or emails at all, and that is a little concerning. But do you have parents like a helicopter parent?
I had one helicopter parent, but my communication with parents is pretty bad.
So why is communication with your parents bad?
I don't put ownership.
With their parents, yeah.
Yeah, I don't put ownership on anyone else's successes or failures in my classroom, except onto the student themselves.
That's typically how I work it too. I only had one helicopter parent, and I had to tell her, like, it's quarter 1, relax. Your son has to grow into it.
Yeah.
He is a freshman. And she's like, what can I do to make his life, how do I help him? I'm like, well, first, thank you for not blaming me wholeheartedly. I mean, thanks for doing that, because a lot of parents, they just kind of rip into you. But I had to explain to her, like, look, he is a freshman in a brand new school of 1,400 students. He is the small fish in a big pond. He's gonna have to grow into it. And you've experienced this too. I'm pretty sure you've seen students. You have senior advisory, so you've had them for 4 years.
Yep.
Like, you remember them when they first came to your classroom. Now they were like either scared or overly talkative or like nervous, and then they've matured, right? I have seniors. They're gonna be seniors next year. So my advisory kids, when they first started, I told them, this is my second round of advisory, by the way. I said, you guys are quiet right now and you're going to feel uncomfortable. And why are you here? But I guarantee you, by the time you're seniors, you'll be so talkative and joking and laughing. And by they're juniors now. And yeah, they're kind of like, we're all just having fun in advisory.
Yeah.
Like I told you. So I have this kid, and his name begins with a K, and he used to always run away from my classroom all the time in
Okay.
advisory freshman year. And I finally had to settle him down. I'm like, dude, what are you so afraid of? who's picking on you? And he's a tough kid. He's like, oh, no, he's picking on me. No, he's picking on me. I'm like, bro, somebody must be picking on you and bullying you. That's why you're always running away.
Yeah.
He's like, no, bro. No, he's picking on me, mister. No, he's picking on me. He's like, I can take care of myself. Like, is it somebody picking on you? Who's picking on you? And the minute I dropped that on him and then challenged his ego,
Yeah.
he changed his attitude and stopped running away.
Yeah.
Mark, we're going to round down this show. We've talked a lot. I want to talk to you more. But is there some things you want to say? Get stuff off your chest. Tell it to the world.
Well, I would like to again apologize for Howard's digging of the hole that he had earlier. He does not reflect the opinions that may or may not be misunderstood during his dialogue.
Yeah. I do apologize. I am a moron.
Yeah. No, this is cool. This is fun. And it's fun because we're both teachers at the same school.
Yeah.
In dealing with the same stuff.
Mark, I've loved having you here. And folks, thank you very much for listening. If you have questions, you can check out the Camcast on YouTube and leave comments below.
Like on a better name than the podcast.
I don't know what to call it. You know what? By the time I upload this, there'll be a name.
Yeah.
It'll probably be weirdly inappropriate and someone will like flame me for it.
And then so it'll be canceled because of your comments about women.
Yeah.
And then canceled because of your name.
Yeah. No, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Okay. Double canceled.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll see you on the next show. Aloha.
See ya.